Today in Grow a Garden in Roblox, I have a list of 10 things you're going to want to grab before the new event rotates out in less than a few days. If this sounds interesting to you, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. Become part of the first 200k OGs on the channel, because soon you won't be able to, and soon you'll become one of the first 300k OGs on the channel. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So there are 10 things you're going to want to do before this event rotates. It's Wednesday. BEANSTALK is gone in a handful of days, Saturday morning. What are you going to want to grab? Well, the first thing you're going to want to grab is the new sprout egg. If you haven't gotten a bunch by now, get a bunch, because we have koi and we have seals. So you can stretch those eggs out over a longer period of time, hatching more and more useful pets in the future. And inside those eggs, we have lots of pets, including the golden goose, who is still very, very useful in trade when you're running around public servers. So grab your eggs before it's too late. Oh, and when you're hatching your eggs, you might want to use some brontosauruses. I've seen some offers out there for huge golems, and people seem very interested about maybe speeding up mutations using huge golems. Now remember, the brontosaurus does not necessarily turn regular ones into huges. It just means that if you ever do manage to hatch a huge, which hatches at like 4 or 5 or 6 kilograms or more, it increases it by 30% if you stack enough brontosauruses. So you could turn a 7 kilogram huge into like a 9 kilogram huge using enough brontosauruses. So get your eggs, get some brontosauruses, and maybe hatch an extra huge, a titanic golden goose or a titanic golem, because people seem to be very interested in those two. The goose because it's rare, it's a divine pet. But the golem because its effect might be useful for people trying to farm up specific mutations like rainbow on certain things or ascendant, etc. Something to think about. After that, you're going to want to do the same thing, but this time you're going to want to grab the chest, because inside is a griffin. Now, somebody claimed to have found a 7 kilogram griffin, aka a huge griffin, out of the chest. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's real, but regardless, the griffin is another divine pet that is definitely tradable in public servers. So why not grab as many as you can every night when you're allowed to reset the shop? It has been my tongue. Ow. It hurts. Now, the griffin isn't the only thing you want to get in these chests. Honestly, the cyclamen and the mandrake interest me. Especially the mandrake is kind of interesting and neat. It has a useful effect, provides a unique mutation. But the cyclamen, again, anytime you can grab at least one of every plant, do it. You never know what people desire. You never know what gets nerfed. You never know what suddenly turns into the honeysuckle method and you didn't pick up any honeysuckles and you're left wondering, whoa, if I only had one honeysuckle, I have all these toucans, but no honeysuckle. I'm not bitter. Not bitter at all. Now, the third thing you're going to want to grab is interesting, because I'm surprised at how popular this is. I think it's because people like big pets, and as such, it does have some value. So if I were you, I would grab as many giant bean shards, green bean shards, those green shards that make your pets humongous. Grab as many as you can. People like them for a very casual way to level up their pets and age up their pets, and they like the fact that it makes their pets huge. Though seeing a really weird colored green kitsune is a strange sight to behold. So grab those shards, because we don't know if they're ever going to come back once this event rotates. Then you have probably secretly one of my favorite additions into this game, and that is the bouncy mushroom cosmetic. Guys, there's just something about a cosmetic that does something. I love the jump pads that we get from events on the weekends, so grab your bouncy mushrooms. Maybe you can make a really cool maze bouncing back and forth with all your bouncy mushrooms. Grab them, because once they're gone, and you might regret not having any for your garden in the future. Now, these next two are pretty important, because once again, I don't know if we're ever going to get them again when the event rotates. And the first one is the Spriggan pet. This guy right here, because he doesn't come from an egg, he doesn't come from a chest. When the store is gone, he's gone. And now you have to trade for other players to get one. And you never know down the road when the developers want to increase an ability, decrease an ability, or change the way the game is structured. So the last thing you want to do is be stuck without something. So if you see one in the shop, grab it. And make sure you keep checking every night when you can reset the shop. Check for these guys and reset the shop multiple times, and always check for these guys. And that also includes the gnome, who I still haven't acquired. I haven't seen one in the shop this entire time. Make sure you also get your gnomes for the exact same reason. Now, the Spriggan does provide a unique mutation called the Bloom mutation, so that is a reason why you definitely want to have a Spriggan. I believe he is the only source of the Bloom mutation, though there might be a Bloom spray. Now that I think about it, there might be a spray. And then you have the Gnome, who has a really cool and fun ability, has a chance to mutate a random few. When with the Gnome mutation, gains additional chance for every gnome cosmetic in your garden. Guys, you can just flood your garden with gnomes and then use him to spread the gnome mutation. It's just hilarious. I love it. And speaking about things you can no longer acquire, guys, make sure you go and you get your seed packs from this event, because this will be the only time you can get it and the only way to get the Princess Thorn. And have you seen how massive some of these Princess Thorns are? I've seen pictures of Princess Thorns covering entire gardens. It's an insane plant. So grab your seed packs from the event. They're there every time you refresh the shop. You refresh the shop, you get seed packs, you get the chests, and then you have a chance at all the other things. Grab them. And having said that, the Princess Thorn is neat, but the Gleam Root and the Poseidon plant both look really, really cool. And there's something I might want to try and grow into huge plants just to see what they look like when they're huge. Any plant that glows is always a win in my mind. So grab your packs. Grab your Poseidon plants, your Gleam Roots. You never know what might turn out to be good. This one is kind of sneaky important. Grab your silver fertilizer. We don't know if fertilizer is going to stay in the game past this point. We've had no confirmation one way or another. But what if it's not? I kind of like using the fertilizer to like randomly get the hope that the thing I'm fertilizing will stay silver. There's a small percent chance when you use a fertilizer on a plant, the plant stays silver at the end of the 2 hours. So yeah, making future plants silver sounds kind of fun. Grab some of these. And this one's also important. Guys, if there's any cosmetics that pop up in the shop, just grab them. Grab as many cosmetics as you see. You never know when you want to do something cool with them. I mean, you guys have seen my garden, right? I mean, 1 honeycomb and 1 honey tunnel is kind of cool, but like 80 honeycombs and like 70 honey tunnels made something really, really cool. So grab the cosmetics. You never know what you might get creativity, what you might think about making. And finally, probably my number 1 tip. The number 1 thing you should probably grab from the shops before the event ends in a few days is the Amber Heart seed. That tree is beautiful and expensive. This is what the Amber Heart looks like. And did you know its price floor and average value is 175,000 base? That is only 25,000 less than the Bone Blossom. That's how valuable this is. And you never know when the developers might just push the dial up a little bit and give it a buff, and maybe even surpass the Bone Blossom in the future. Who knows? I don't know what Channel's going to do. So grab at least one of these, because you never know. You never know. And they might have trade value in the future, especially if we get seed trading. Those were my 10 things I want you to grab from this event before it rotates in just a few days. Hopefully you found something interesting in that list. If you did, go ahead and hit subscribe, become part of the first 200K OGs on the channel. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching.